Coming up on the debut of Season 4 of Flashtalk, we talk football with head ball coach Kenni Burns as the Golden Flashes open the 2024 campaign at Pitt. We welcome in brand new field hockey coach Heather Hefner to our set as the field hockey team welcomes in a pair of opponents to Murphy Medalist Field this weekend. Coach Rob Marinaro will talk about the beginning of their season and their epic road trip coming up ahead. And Haley Eckerman will talk some volleyball as our volleyball team gets started for a road trip to start the 2024 campaign. As always, we take a wide look at what's going on around our busy world of Kent State athletics, and that's all coming up in a flash. Welcome back inside our Flash Talk studios. Dan Griffin alongside head ball coach Kenni Burns. Man, happy game week.
Happy game week. Here we go.
Training camp, summer camp, and everything that you and the Kent Grit family got into. What was kind of the big takeaways from Season 2 here of Kenni Burns Summer Camp?
You know what? I think year one, we were learning how to do things, which was so important to just get a feel for how do you go about doing everything that comes with Kent Grit, from a lifestyle to football to off the field, everything. This year, it was about how do we grow within that and how do we start competing within the parameters of Kent Grit. And I think you saw that all over the field in fall camp. Guys going at it, guys knowing what to do now, how to do it, but now how do I compete at the highest level while doing it?
Who have been kind of the guys that stood out? And I know your mantra is all in this year. Yeah. So who are the guys that are all in and being kind of those voices in the locker room away from the coaching staff?
Yeah, when you look at our captains that we identified, we picked them as a coaching staff this year, and they're all guys that embody that all-in mantra. Starting with Oliver Billett, a big D tackle that I brought to media days that truly on and off the field, he has been everything that you want Kent Grit to be. Alongside him, Matt Harmon, another one that's been here for a long time, has got a lot of experience, and Matt didn't have to stay here. He could have went somewhere else and played, but he's all bought into what we're doing. And then just with him, Caleb Johns is another one that's done a phenomenal job as well of growing within our system here. And then Cam Golden, representing our offensive line, which is a younger group, but he's the kind of the experienced old head in that group. And I think nobody had a good of a fall camp as Gavin Garcia. I think he came out, he had a great fall camp, played well, as being kind of a leader on our football team now, battling with an injury right now, but his voice still runs heavy in our football team. And then Luke Floria, Agent Zero, we call him. He's a guy that embodies what we're looking for.
A short trip over to the Steel City, which is right in our backyard, both alumni and, like you said, a recruiting pipeline in our press conference this week. But talk about the challenges that an ACC opponent in an NFL stadium kind of present for you.
Well, you said it. They're an ACC opponent. They got talent everywhere. They got skill everywhere that can run, that can catch, that can tackle. They got guys that jump off the screen from that standpoint. For us to have a chance, we've got to have our culture on display. We've got to be able to hit them in the mouth and withstand that for the whole game. I think it's the key to it. But they're a talented team. The one thing I'll say about Coach Narduzzi, all of his teams are played tough and physical. They got a new offensive system, so I'm interested to see how that all works together. They're going to be faster and go up tempo now. But I'm excited for our guys. I think this is a good matchup for us to see where we're at. Does it promise us a win? No, but the way we've been preparing sure does give us a chance.
It is going to be on Saturday afternoon, a 12:07, I believe, ESPNU, to give us a shot on national TV. But hey, it's an hour and a half away. We need you at Acrisure Stadium.
Absolutely.
So the tickets available now through the Pitt box office. We want to see that be a Golden Flash faithful to cheer you guys on. And just talk a little bit, like you said, you talked about the culture, but some of the big takeaways, position groups that have really kind of impressed you guys that you expect to kind of take that next leap that's going to be on full display on national TV this Saturday?
Yeah, the thing I'll say is last year I didn't know who our dudes were. This year I know who our dudes are. The Lukes, the Kershawns, the Kai Thomases of the world, the Caleb Johns, the Branch, the Oliver Billets, the Harmons. There's enough of them there that right? They got to be dudes. They got to go out and they got to play in order for us to win. They got to be at their best come kickoff, and they got to hold the torch and make sure that we're responding the right way, we're growing throughout the game. But the biggest thing for us to win every game this year, our dudes have got to be dudes. And over fall camp, I thought they were.
The defense, to me, stood out a lot in preseason because they played angry. They were flying around, and they didn't miss a whole lot. And just kind of your thoughts as to kind of my 20,000-foot analysis of the guys flying around and, like you said, playing angry and being dudes.
Yeah, we got better. There's no doubt about it. And I think we're playing more connected as a defense and playing, for one, not playing individuals. A lot of guys playing together as one team, which is good. We still got to learn how to play smarter. Sometimes we get in trouble because we overthink things, but I think they're starting to feel a rhythm, and I think that's big on defense, to have a rhythm to where I can trust the guy next to me to be where he's supposed to be, and to help us not get exposed.
It is on the Kent State Radio Network starting at 11:30, ESPNU at 12:07. But like I said, I want you at Acrisure Stadium in the Steel City. Coach Kenni Burns,
Appreciate you.
Go 1-0 in championship week. We'll talk to you again next Monday as we prepare for the home opener.
No doubt. I appreciate it. And please be out there, support, and go Flashes, Kent Grit.
Welcome back inside our Flashtalk studios. Dan Griffin alongside brand new field hockey head coach Heather Hefner. And Coach, welcome to Flashtalk.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting to be here.
I want to hear kind of your thoughts as you get to know Team 1 in the Hefner era, so to speak, and what's kind of jumped out to you through a couple of exhibitions and fall camp.
It's been an awesome season so far. The group is incredible. Honestly, I couldn't be more happy with the girls, and they were just, as soon as we stepped in day one, they were ready to buy in, right? We put in front of them some standards, some expectations, kind of the culture and vision and where we wanted to go with this team, and they have done nothing but buy into it and really give their all. So it's been a lot of fun from the beginning of preseason, and then, of course, getting to play these scrimmages. We had Michigan, who's a good team, going to have a good year. And so we really learned a lot from that, and then headed into Slippery Rock. Definitely a lot to learn there as well.
Talk to us a little bit about what that message has been to the team, what you expect out of a Kent State field hockey team going into this year, and what fans can see from your style of field hockey.
Yeah, for sure. So our season theme this year, every piece, right? So what we did on the very first day of preseason, we had the girls put together a puzzle, and they all had a puzzle piece in it. And so the message that we're really trying to get this team to buy into for this specific season is that every single piece of that puzzle matters, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're the starter with all the minutes. It doesn't matter if you're the person who's not getting as many minutes. It doesn't matter if you play attack or defense, or if you're a senior or you're a freshman, right? Like every single piece of the puzzle matters every year, but especially this year, as we've got a little bit of a smaller squad. So I think that's been really cool just to see the girls, buy into that and know that no matter who they are, they have value and they have worth.
Like you said, if you're a person fighting for minutes, well, your job is to get better, to push that competition, to make that person in front of you a little bit better. And if you're not defending, then it's very hard to win 6-5. And sometimes 1-0 is great because the back end was so good. So talk to us a little bit about like your philosophy.
We want to put together the best product of Kent State field hockey that we can. Something that we were talking about coming out of our scrimmage with Michigan and into Slippery Rock is, right, we want to set the pace. So it does not matter who we're playing this weekend, right? Whether it's Indiana, whether it's Liberty, whether it's, the postseason at the end of the year, we want to be the ones that set the pace. We want to dictate what that looks like. We want to play fast. We want to play forward, right? But to me, it's not as much about how many goals we're trying to score. We want to put the best product of Kent State field hockey forward. And then, continue to find and refine the areas where maybe, hey, we didn't put our best foot forward here.
The Hoosiers of Indiana coming in on Friday, and then your old stomping grounds of Liberty on Sunday. Those two will obviously meet on Saturday. So talk to us a little bit about it. You were saying beforehand, this has kind of been a handshake agreement round robin over the last few years. So these teams, although different from year to year, kind of know each other fairly well, especially when it comes to a non-conference opponent.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Going to be some good competition. Going to be a lot of fun to have both those teams here, especially for non-conference opponents, right? You always want to be playing people that are going to make you better, and I think both those teams are definitely going to refine us for sure.
Well, you guys get an opportunity on what should be an absolute beautiful weekend out at Murphy Mellis Field, and then you guys hit the West Coast, then come back and you're playing Penn State. I mean, you guys are basically anytime, any place, anywhere. You're going to be tested before MAC play, that is for sure. Talk to us a little bit about kind of the trips and the opponents ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And again, just like I said, that's the goal, right? With your non-conference opponents, you want to be playing people that are going to push you, that are going to prepare you for that MAC tournament. So that, not even the MAC tournament, MAC play in general. So that when we come to those games, right, we've been able to figure out, and I think part of what we are trying to do right now as a team is, I gave the puzzle analogy in terms of the girls, but also what does that puzzle look like on the field? field. Where do we, where do people fit in best? Where do we have our best 11, when they're out there? So I think it gives us that opportunity to do that, while obviously also chasing success and trying to win, a good bit of those. So yeah, we're excited. We're playing some great opponents, excited to go out to California. I think, that's something that doesn't get to happen all the time. And so I know the girls are excited, just even from a standpoint of getting to travel a little bit, get out there. So yeah, we're really excited.
It is an East Coast dominated collegiate sport, to where I believe those are the only 3 teams truly out west. So it's really cool that you're getting that opportunity. And Coach, I'll leave you with kind of this one. As you go through your first camp as a head coach and start your first season as a head coach, what's been kind of the biggest adjustment from top assistant to head coach in charge?
Yeah, I think probably just, the decision making that comes with being a head coach, right? Everybody at the end of the day is looking at you to make the decision. But I'll tell you what, my staff, I said this to someone the other day, but I think a head coach is only as good as the people they have around them. And Lizzie and Kieran have been phenomenal, right? They have made my transition just so incredible in the way that they've stepped up, the way that they're leading, giving their opinions, and really teaching and leading the group. So, and honestly, I think that's what's made this transition a lot easier for me. So I'm super thankful to have them aboard.
Well, it all gets started here this weekend. 2 chances on Friday and on Sunday afternoon to check out the Golden Flashes and check out a great non-conference game in the middle there on Saturday, a neutral site affair. Coach, best of luck, and let's put some in that left-hand column when we talk again.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
Welcome back inside the Flash Talk studio. Time to talk the beautiful game with Coach Rob Marinaro, and a big time, a 4-0 victory, or 4-0, I should say. My apologies. Over Oakland, as you guys go 2-0-1 to start the season against the Horizon League, as we kind of get that MAC Horizon rivalry up and going.
We needed to start off right, and then I think we did relatively well. A little bit of a bump in the road at Youngstown State, but they're all real good teams, and to get results to start off has really kind of helped the team.
Yeah, you guys get a big time victory to start the season against Cleveland State. You mentioned the draw with Youngstown, but 4-0, 4 different goal scorers against Oakland, and really controlled the pace from the get-go. The field, or the stats at least, seem tilted to your side, which is always what you like to see.
We're trying to really produce, keeping possession of the ball, trying to control from a possessional standpoint. I think that's where we really tried to make a big leap forward. And, playing a lot of freshmen is a part of the challenge, right? They're very talented young ladies, but, understanding what we're trying to do tactically, what we're trying to do as a unit, and we're starting to see some of that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of through balls and kind of give and goes to where you're getting the defense kind of back on their heels and really kind of, like you said, taking that possession and aggression towards them. It may not always result in a tally for your side, but I mean, soccer is always about the kind of that pressure. You're going to keep pushing, and eventually that wall is going to break.
Yeah, I mean, that's a part of it, right? Try and create as many opportunities as you can. And, soccer is not a high-scoring sport, so you can tell how hard it is to put the ball in the goal, especially when you got to be 10 people and then a goalkeeper who can use their hands. It presents different challenges. And, I think our ratio of shots to goals has been pretty solid. So, continue to build with that. But more than anything, getting the ball in the final third and creating those opportunities and look at goals, I think we're doing that a little bit more than what we were doing last year at this time. And then obviously production has been there, so that's great.
We hit the road for the next several matches. I think it's almost a month before we see you back at the friendly confines of Zeller Field again. So talk a little bit about that challenge and the Dukes that are the first up before you guys travel up to New York to take on Colgate.
JMU being an at-large bid last year for a mid-major is what we're looking to challenge ourselves with. And any team that's played in the NCAA tournament, that's our hope and goal. So we want to put ourselves in that environment as much as possible. It's a great school, and it presents that challenge that we need at this point. And then, turn around Sunday with a lot more travel and head up to Colgate. But, The idea was, we need to learn to win on the road just as much as at home because, of course, conference is pretty much split in half. So we need to get some results on the road, and we're presented with some real talented schools.
There we go. It starts in Harrisonburg, Virginia, before you guys go up to Colgate, and then I think it's Duquesne, and then it's Kentucky, and then Toledo in conference play before we finally see you back here a month from now. But let's talk about some results while you guys pick up those hotel points.
Yeah, that's the plan. And, again, with the group, it's just getting better every day. It's presenting those challenges for the team. And we want to be low maintenance with whatever is ahead of us. And this is a great challenge for the group. So a wonderful group of young ladies, and we're really looking forward to what the season presents for us.
Coach Marinaro, as always, a pleasure, and best of luck on your road travels.
And thanks a lot.
Let's take a look at our busy upcoming Kent State schedule. As always, we're brought to you by KSUTix.com. Our weekend starts early on Thursday as our women's soccer team is on the road at JMU. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff. On Friday, it's brunch with our field hockey team. 11 a.m. versus Indiana at Murphy Mellis Field. Get there early for a free team poster. Cross country gets their season started. The Tommy Evans Invite, 6 p.m. out in the rubber city of Akron. On Saturday, our volleyball team gets things started with Delaware at 11 a.m., then take on host Michigan at 3 p.m. Our football team travels to Acrisure Stadium to take on the Pitt Panthers in the season opener. That's a noon kickoff. Game can be seen on ESPNU or listen wherever you want to be on the Kent State Radio Network. Our Sunday gets started with field hockey hosting the Liberty Flames at 1 p.m. It's Youth Day, and get there early for a free seat cushion giveaway. Our soccer team stays on the road, traveling to Colgate for a 1 p.m. kickoff. Volleyball back in action against the host Wolverines. That's a 3 p.m. first serve from Ann Arbor. And our weekend wraps on Monday with our women's golf team teeing it up at the Boilermaker Classic in West Lafayette, Indiana. For more news and information about your favorite teams, visit us on the web at kentstatesports.com. Tickets available at ksutix.com, and always follow us on your favorite social media platform. Back with more Flash Talk right after this. Welcome back inside our Flash Talk studio, starting our fall previews with head volleyball coach Haley Eckerman. And coach, happy match week. It probably that summer probably flew by if I was speaking for everybody, because I know it did for me.
It had its moments where it was like, okay, it's taking forever to get here. And then it got here and we're like, oh, wait, hold on. We got a lot to accomplish in the 2 weeks that we had of training. And so now we're here. Training
camp, like you said, it's a pressure cooker when you only got 2 weeks. So what was kind of the goal to instill in the team, and who has kind of stuck out in being able to kind of be that leader on the court and in the locker room?
I think the biggest thing was just getting everybody on the same page as much as possible, making sure that they knew what our system was, so that summertime that those kids were here, even though we didn't have access to them, they were in there in the gym kind of teaching them our defense and our offense. So it wasn't as much of a new transition with 11 new people, but at the same time, it was still tough. We've had a couple people stick out to us. Haley Brenner's done a really good job just kind of being a balance, especially as a freshman coming in, kind of being that back row threat as far as like not just a passer, but also an attacker in the back row for us. We did a exhibition game against Robert Morris, and so we got to kind of see how we are, because it's been just basically us against us. It was a good test for us. It showed how we have good moments, but we still have a lot to work on.
Yeah, Robert Morris was always a top team in the NEC, and now obviously is making the transition over to the Horizon League. So that's a good neighbor and a good litmus test.
Yeah, one of their assistants, Sarah, was a former alumni here, so we always get to kind of have that relationship. She doesn't get to come back for alumni weekend, so always get to try to do that. We'll probably do the same thing here against them next year, but just a really good competition of good level.
Now we take the trip up to that state up north to play the school up north, and with the scrimmage again, actually not scrimmage, it's for serious this time, where we play the Blue Hens of Delaware on Saturday morning, and then a double dip with the host Wolverines. What can we expect from those two counterparts?
Yeah, Delaware is going to be that challenging match for sure out of the two teams that we're playing. But I think for us, if we can go in and just embrace the moment and really focus on us and not what the other side is doing, that's kind of the plus and minus of that first week is you have no film on that team. So you can't really create a scouting report. Hannah and Jackson will go watch their game that they're playing each other on Friday. But other than that, we really don't have anything on them just based off of some personnel. So it'll be a test for our kids to really go in and just focus on us and what we need to do and trying to make changes as quickly as possible.
When you were putting together the schedule, what was kind of going through your mind as far as different styles, different levels of competition before MAC play really gets started?
Yeah, MAC is such a tough in and out every single day. And so trying to put us in situations where those names can kind of stir us up a little bit. When people see the Big Ten with Michigan or a Cincinnati with the Big 12, for our kids, it's more about still going in and playing our style of volleyball, no matter who's on the other side. And I think that allows us to have a challenge in non-conference and not just go and kind of win every single game. We can take away whether we win or lose from every single one of those games. So being able to battle in those games each night will help us prepare for coming in for conference season.
Across every single sport in the Mid-American Conference, volleyball is no exception to where it can literally come down to you may win a set and win a match, but then in some weird tiebreaker, a couple of points didn't go your way and you could be on the outside looking in, or you could be hosting a first-round match.
Yeah, we saw that a lot, especially my first 2 years. Like teams, one or two matches determining whether they're in the top six or they're not, and it comes down to that last kind of game. So getting the girls to understand that every game counts, and that even though we were seated where we were, that just allows us to kind of inch our way in and slowly work our way up instead of having the pressure of being a number one and having to stay at number one.
When we come back and we're seeing you guys in action, what do you want to kind of jump off that page?
I think our focus this year is we over me, and instead of the over, it's a flash sign, which is really cool. But getting to a point where it's all of us going to battle and seeing that on the court. There's not just an individual. We're not just depending on a Mackenzie, where we are at a point where we are a dynamic team. And we have threats from every single angle. The middles, the outsides, the right sides, the back row, I think is going to be really key for us.
Well, it all gets started this weekend up in the state up north. Best of luck on your travels, and let's fly that flag for us.
That's the goal.
That's going to do it for this edition of Flash Talk. This is Dan Griffin saying join us next week for another deep dive into the wonderful world of Kent State athletics. Good night and go Flashes.